Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're talking right to you, especially if you're looking to expand your English vocabulary in ways that, actually work and maybe even feel a bit fun.
Exactly. We're going to get into some really practical strategies, things based on how we actually learn to help you build up that word bank.
Yeah, and we'll also touch on some common mistakes, things to maybe avoid, because let's face it, we all make them. It's totally normal.
Absolutely. But maybe we should start with a big question. Why is vocabulary actually so important when you're trying to master English?
Good point. It's like, think of your language skills as a toolkit, right? Grammar tells you how to use the tools. Pronunciation is about handling them correctly.
But the words themselves are the tools. Without a decent range of vocabulary, what can you actually, build or say?
Exactly. It's like having this amazing recipe, all the instructions laid out, but then you look in the cupboard and you're missing half the key ingredients. So frustrating.
We've all been there, I think. That moment where the thought is perfectly clear in your native language.
But the English word just isn't popping into your head. It's just blank.
Right. And that's why growing your vocabulary isn't just about, collecting words. It fundamentally changes things.
How so?
Well, it makes speaking feel easier, more fluid. You start understanding native speakers much better, maybe without needing subtitles all the time.
The dream, watching movies without constantly reading.
Yeah. And it allows for deeper connections when you talk to people. You can express yourself more precisely.
And it feeds into other skills too, doesn't it? Like listening and reading.
Definitely. The more words you recognize, the better you understand what you hear and read. It even sharpens how you think in English.
Think about the difference maybe between someone who knows, say, 500 English words versus someone who knows 2,000.
Oh, huge difference. The person with 2,000 words has such a richer palette for expression. They can understand nuances, subtleties.
Even jokes and wordplay that would just fly over the head of someone with a smaller vocabulary. It's like going from, black and white TV to full HD color.
That's a great analogy. And what's really interesting is that vocabulary growth often fuels itself. The more words you learn,
The more you notice other words you don't know.
exactly, you start hearing them in songs, spotting them in articles. It sparks this curiosity, which then drives you to learn even more. It becomes a positive cycle.
So it's like a gateway. More words open up more of the language, more culture, more creativity.
More connection, absolutely. And the good news really is that building this vocabulary, it's achievable for anyone. It just takes some interest, repetition, and the right approach.
Okay, so let's talk about approaches. Maybe start with what not to do. Some common pitfalls.
Good idea. One of the biggest traps, I think, is trying to memorize long lists of words completely out of context.
The classic vocabulary list, page after page of isolated words and definitions.
Yeah, it's a bit like trying to memorize the phone book. Your brain just isn't really wired to hold on to information like that effectively. It needs connection.
It needs context, right?
Yeah, precisely. So instead of just memorizing polite equals behaving respectfully, it's much, much better to learn it in a sentence. Like, she's always polite to strangers. The words around polite give you clues about its meaning and, crucially, how it's actually used.
That makes sense. Okay, what's another mistake we often see?
That constant need to translate everything directly from your native language, always thinking in your language first, then translating word for word.
I can see how that feels necessary at first, but why is it a problem long term?
Well, languages just don't line up perfectly, do they? One word in your language might need several different English words depending on the situation.
Right, nuances get lost.
And it slows you down. Plus, it kind of stops you from starting to actually think directly in English, which is a really important step towards fluency.
Okay, so avoid lists without context. Avoid over-translating. What else?
The classic use it or lose it principle. You can write down hundreds of words.
Fill up notebooks.
Exactly. But if you don't actively try to use those words, put them into your own sentences, speak them, write them, they'll likely just fade away.
So just seeing the word or writing it down once isn't enough for it to stick.
Not usually, no. Recognition is one thing. Being able to recall it and use it actively when you need it, that takes practice. Active engagement.
Got it. And one last thing, maybe this idea that using really complicated, fancy words makes you sound smarter.
Oh yeah, that myth. Definitely debunk that one. Clarity is king in communication. Often, the simplest, clearest English is the most effective. Don't try to impress with obscure words. Just focus on clear communication.
Okay, good. So let's pivot. What should people be doing? Let's talk effective strategies. You mentioned micro habits.
Yes. Small, manageable things you can build into your daily routine. They add up significantly over time.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, one easy one. Read a little bit of English every single day.
Does it have to be like a whole book chapter?
Not at all. A short news article, a blog post on something you like, social media captions, even, the back of a cereal box.
Okay, cereal boxes count.
They do. It's about consistent exposure to real-world English.
All right, what's another micro habit?
Listen to English daily. Music, radio, audiobooks. This show.
Shameless plug.
Well, yeah. But seriously, listen actively. Don't stress if you don't understand everything at first.
Just let it wash over you.
Sort of. Try to pick out words or phrases you hear repeated. Maybe jot them down later if you can't. About tuning your ear.
Okay, daily reading, daily listening. You mentioned jotting words down. That leads to the idea of a word log, right?
Exactly. A dedicated place, an app on your phone, whatever works for you.
And what goes in it? Just the word.
The word, its meaning, and crucially, an example sentence showing how it's used. That context again.
You mentioned context is key.
It really is. And hey, if you're visual, maybe add a quick doodle next to the word. Helps create another memory hook.
I like that. Making it personal. So you've got this log.
Yeah.
Then what? Just let it sit there.
No. Review is essential. Look back regularly. Maybe pick 5 words each day.
And just read them.
Try to actively recall the meaning before you look. Then try to say them aloud. Maybe even make a new sentence with them. That active recall is powerful.
So capture, add context, review actively. Got it. Any more passive things we can do? Stuff that happens in the background.
One surprisingly good one. Change your phone's language setting to English.
Ooh, brave.
That seems small, but you interact with your phone constantly. You'll start picking up interface words, app commands. It's incidental learning.
That's clever. Anything else like that?
How about talking to yourself in English?
You mean like out loud?
Yeah. Might feel weird at first, but just narrate simple actions. Okay, I'm making coffee now. I need to tie my shoes.
How does that help?
It connects the language directly to your real life, your actions. Plus, it's speaking practice without any pressure.
That actually sounds really useful for building fluency. Okay, so we've got these habits. What about making it more fun? Creative methods?
Absolutely. Variety keeps things engaging. Flashcards are a classic for a reason.
Physical ones or apps?
Either. You can draw pictures on physical cards or use apps like Quizlet, which often have built-in games and quizzes, which makes it feel less like studying.
Games are always good. What else?
Watching TV shows or cartoons in English. Start with subtitles in your own language if you need to follow the plot.
And
Then switch to English subtitles. You start matching the sounds to the words. Eventually, maybe try turning subtitles off altogether. It's a gradual process.
training your ear and eyes together? Smart. Other games?
Oh, yeah. Word games like Scrabble, crossword puzzles, fantastic vocabulary builders. And there are tons of vocabulary game apps out there now.
So find one you enjoy.
Definitely. Another visual idea. Label things around your house. Put a sticky note saying mirror on your mirror, fridge on your fridge, light switch by the switch.
Creating an immersive environment at home. I like that.
It's constant, low-effort reinforcement. And for memory, try making up silly stories using your new words.
Silly stories.
Yeah. The weirder or funnier the story, the more memorable the words embedded in it become. Our brains like novelty.
Huh. Okay, I can see that working. Any final creative tips?
Music. Listen to English songs, really pay attention to the lyrics, maybe look them up, then sing along. Great for memory and pronunciation.
So lots of different options there. The main thing is to mix it up, keep it fresh.
Exactly. Find what you enjoy because that's what you'll stick with. But remember, learning the words is only half the battle.
The other half being.
Actually using them.
Yep.
That's where the learning really cements itself.
Right, the use it or lose it thing again. How do we consciously use new words without sounding, unnatural?
Look for small opportunities. If you keep a journal, try to slip in a new word or two. Texting a friend, see if one fits naturally. Posting online, same idea.
So sprinkle them in.
Yeah, even just saying the words aloud to yourself while you're doing chores counts. It gets your mouth used to forming the sounds.
Okay. What about a more structured approach to using them?
Try the word of the day strategy. Pick one new word each morning.
Just one.
Just one. And make it your mission to use that word actively at least 3 times during the day.
3 times.
In a conversation, maybe in an email, even just in your own thoughts when you're thinking about something. The conscious effort is key.
That sounds very focused and doable. Now, the scary part. Using words in actual conversation. What happens when we mess up? Because we will.
Oh, absolutely you will. And that is perfectly okay. Actually, it's more than okay. It's essential.
Essential. How so?
Mistakes are proof you're trying. You're pushing your boundaries. Every time someone corrects you or you realize afterwards you used a word wrong,
Yeah.
that's a learning moment. It helps solidify the correct way in your mind. Don't fear mistakes. Honestly, welcome them.
That's a big mental shift for a lot of learners, I think. Fear of sounding silly.
I get it. But honestly, even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. We trip over words, use the wrong grammar occasionally. It happens.
So perfection isn't the goal.
Not at all. Persistence is. Mistakes highlight where you need a bit more focus. And correcting them makes the learning stick better. They're valuable feedback.
Okay, that's really encouraging. So if someone's listening right now, what's one concrete thing they could do, like today?
All right, here's your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Lay it on us.
Pick 3 new English words you've come across recently. Maybe from this discussion or something you read or heard.
Okay, 3 words.
For each word, create 1 sentence using it. Make the sentence personal about your own life or thoughts.
Personal sentences. Got it.
And then, this is important, say those 3 sentences out loud. Speak them.
Simple, practical, gets you using the words immediately. I like it. Is there extra credit?
Always. For extra credit.
Yeah.
Record yourself saying those sentences on your phone.
Why record?
Then listen back. It helps you hear your own pronunciation and rhythm. It's really insightful. And if you're feeling brave, share one of your sentences online. Maybe use hashtag like hashtag my English word or something. Connect with other learners also practicing.
Nice. Community motivation. Okay, fantastic. So let's just quickly recap the ground we've covered.
We talked about why vocab is so crucial. It's your toolkit for expression and understanding.
Right. Then we hit some common mistakes to avoid, like learning from context-free lists or translating too much.
And the importance of use it or lose it.
Then we moved on to effective habits, daily reading and listening, keeping and reviewing a word log.
Passive learning, like changing phone settings, and even talking to yourself.
We covered fun ways to learn too, flashcards, shows, games, labeling, silly stories, music, keeping it varied.
And then the really crucial part,
Okay.
actively using your new words in daily life, maybe with a word of the day challenge.
And finally, embracing mistakes not as failures, but as valuable steps in the learning process.
Exactly. So the final takeaways, be patient with yourself. It takes time.
Keep it playful, right? Find methods you actually enjoy.
And just aim for a little bit every day. Consistency beats intensity in the long run.
It really is a journey, isn't it? Not a race. Every word you learn is like laying another brick on that path to fluency.
Well said. And if you found this deep dive helpful, please do subscribe to the show.
Yeah, leave us a review if you can, and maybe share it with a friend who's also learning English.
We really appreciate the support, and we hope this helps you on your adventure.
Absolutely. We're already excited for our next deep dive, but until then, keep learning, keep practicing.
Keep speaking, don't be afraid.
And believe you can do it. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about this. In what specific ways could expanding your English vocabulary open up new parts of the world, new experiences, or new connections for you personally?
Something to ponder.
Definitely. Mull that over, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.